Ahoy, ladies and gents, here I am. Better late than never. Better late than never. I hear that quite a lot. How's life? Who's in, first of all? Bootneck's little work was never done. Oh, yeah. This isn't my job. That's why the Bootneck's work's never done. Calling me a lazy twat. This isn't my job. This is a hobby. This is a free service. Russell fucking Brand doesn't do it for now, does he? The scruffy, long-haired twat. Anyway, who's in? Carlos, the pure blood. All right. Sean Wright, Carol Barker, JV Pierre, Kate's in, Carol, Derek, Stevie Ray, Origami Pig, 51 North, Phil Sam, Trev, Mark, Maggot, AJ, Sean Wright, Terry Wuckfit, Jay Wilson, Julie Clark, David Lithgow, Rodney Shot the Cabbage 61, everybody else. And Alligator Pie's in. Don't often see her, are you? How are you doing? Oh yeah, I'm doing another draw. That reminds me, because I just sent Alligator Pie one last time on a whim, didn't I? How many have I got? How many have I got here? Let me have a quick look. I did pull my PayPal up. Not many, because Bootneck's followers are conservatives. So a lot of them are, fiscally conservative. Let's see. I got my last payment was 23rd of August, 90 days. Matt Trott, Gary Melville, Michelle Roberts, Alice Jenkins, Ken Upton, Andrew Peck. Oh, it's only about 8 people. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. Lee Stokes was the last bloke who bought me a wet. So there's 9. And then how many have I got on Subscribe Star? Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 17 plus 9, 26. Easy. I'll just put my random number generator up for you. 26. 1. 26. Oh yeah, and Blue Van Man, because I promised him he'd go in the number in the draw because he bought me a pint as well. So 1 to 27. You check this works. Blue Van Man's 27. Everybody else is in order. All right, seems to be working. Just click it once. Right, here we go. You can see that on the screen. Make it fair. 25. Right, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Bosh. Number 9. Who's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Michelle Roberts. Michelle Roberts, well done. Send me a message. You've got what? You got some shit. Well done. Look, I finished colouring it. It looks all right, the camo, doesn't it? There you go. Well done. So, Michelle, you've won that. Send me your email address. Something, not your email address, your actual snail mail address. All right, that's done. Don't worry, I pressed the wrong button. That wasn't Susan. That wasn't Susan. That was me. Right, Venezuela crisis is what I'm talking about. Is that it? No, it's not. Right. I'm a bit hungover because I got drunk on Saturday. And now that I'm in my 40s, hangovers sort of kick the shite out of me. When I was a young lad, I could booze with the best of them for weeks at a time, but now I get pissed and I'm fucking. Basically, I understand why. Whenever you go around an alcoholic's house, whenever you go to an alco's house, there's always like pots and pans in the sink, like mail all over the fucking floor. They're like, they can't do anything. I think that's what that is. As you get into your 40s, you get hungover and you just can't do anything. You sort of lie on the couch like a complete spastic for about 20 hours, don't you? It's not just a case of drink a bottle of Lucozade and go to work. Drink till 4 a.m., get up at 6, drink a bottle of Lucozade, and you can work all day. That's not happening. What happened to Ko-Fi? It's still there, Tez, but everybody who goes on there, it goes into PayPal, and obviously that's who I was pulling off. I haven't pulled anybody off. I haven't pulled anybody off for PayPal. And yeah, in between the 23rd of August and the 14th of October. Literally, I got 9 people. So you should have been one of them. Right? You were or you weren't. Anyway, who cares? I'm not talking about that anymore. Ragnar never gets hangovers because he's never sober. Easy. Well, I mean, and that's the easiest thing in the world to do, isn't it? It's the easiest thing in the world to keep drinking. Everybody knows that. It's that's why it's dangerous. The hard thing, stopping. It's very easy to roll out of bed and start drinking gin again. But that's the path to destruction if you start doing that. You've got to tough it out and see through the hangover, I think. Anyway, we're not talking about booze today. We're talking about Venezuela because the irony being, apparently, they're sending Venezuelans back. So they're letting Mexican cartel members, but they'll send in Venezuelans back, which makes no difference, no sense to me. But I'll read you the story because, we haven't done any news yet. 7.1 million people have left the country since 2015. You know why, don't you? Because Nicolas Maduro, basically, communism. I mean, I know I talk about that scourge quite a lot, so you're probably bored of hearing, but that's why. They'll dress it up they will cloak it in any pleasant language they can to avoid mentioning the real cause of all these problems. It's communism. All of them. Same on Twitter, whenever I'm arguing with some commie, what's the polite word for them? Cunt. They'll never ever let you call them a commie because they know how toxic it is. And the really bizarre thing is, if they know how toxic it is, why do they embrace the ideology? They're scared of the word communist because they know how negative all of the connotations with communism are. So why don't they just skip the middleman and go straight to, communism's a shit idea? If you know it's a shit idea, why did you just rebrand it and then refuse to let anybody call you anything else? It's communism. Woke people are commies. AOC is a commie. Some Scotsman that was having a pop at me on Twitter was a commie. He was like, oh, look at the drivel you're coming out with. Clicked on his profile. It was just an endless tirades against the same shite, unoriginal commie claptrap drivel, all the same talking points. Independence for Wales, independence for Scotland, I love Glasgow Celtic, fucking commie ratbag. All the same. Green New Deal, oh, we need to stop oil, commie bollocks. And the other annoying thing about them is they are, all of them, insufferably middle class. Have you noticed with all these just stop oil twats, how posh they all are? The Van Gogh soup fuckers. I mean, the posh. As soon as you hear them talking, did you see Mark Stein debating the soup twats on GB News with some insufferable middle-class Scottish communist? They're all posh. They're all ludicrously posh. It's like a hobby for rich kids now, being a protester. This is where Memmy's a protester, because it's a hobby for bored rich kids. And who do they fuck the working class people? Seriously, watching them drag protesters off the roads has just made me think you are definitely going to get a murder soon. You're going to get a murder, and it's going to be caused by the state. Because I was thinking, I'm a very impatient person. If I was sat there seriously stuck behind a line of commies across the road, I would seriously be like, I'd have to really, really put a lot of effort into not just floor it and fucking wipe the cunts out. And the worst thing is, I've seen them pouring milk all over the floor in Waitrose. I used to go in Waitrose. Even though it's posh Waitrose, I used to go in because when I lived in York, it was in walking distance. It was literally like 200 meters away from my front door. So I used to always nip in and then see if I could get the cheap sandwiches off the scab rack. You could get like 59p sandwiches off the shelf with the stickers on. So I used to always nip in just to, again, not to do the big shop, just to see if I could wangle a pastrami sandwich for 59 pence off the scab rack. And if I went in fucking Waitrose and there was a load of woke kids sat in the aisles pouring milk all over the place, and I wanted to grab a bottle of milk, I would be champing at the bit to just fucking loaf one of them. And you know for a fact, if you did that, that you'd get arrested for assault, wouldn't you? If you lost your temper in Aldi, yeah, because that is funny. They only do it in the expensive supermarkets, don't they? They don't fucking go to Aldi. Because if they were in Aldi, some toothless smackhead would just fucking chew the face off. So that's funny. But like, oh mate, I am the king of the out-of-date mouldy sandwich. I will eat anything if it's 59 pence. I used to go on Waitrose, and it'd be weird shit, you know, where it's like they're trying to be unique and make some sort of bizarre creation. I'd go in there and you'd get dead cheap sandwiches off the scab rack in Waitrose because no one would want to eat them. They'd be really, really weird. It'd be like sun-dried tomato and falafel and hummus falafel wrap or some shit, like stuff I wouldn't even know what it is, and nobody wants to eat it. 59 pence. I'm having that. I was working for the council at the time, so I'll be eating my sandwiches in the truck, and people will be like, "What you eating today, Matty?" And I'd be like, "Oh, it's hummus, garlic roasted fucking snails or some shit." I'd be like, "Yep, I'll eat that," and sweet potatoes. Love a sweet potato in Waitrose. But yeah, they only protest in Waitrose because they're posh, right? They don't want to get their ear bit off by a crackhead. So that's funny. Yeah, beetroot and minge feet and stuff like that. That's what they're selling Waitrose. And I'll eat them. I'll eat anything for 59 pence. I think that the cost of something affects the taste. You know, like when you're a teenager and you pinch milk off someone's doorstep, it just tastes better because you didn't buy it. I'll eat anything if the price is right. It affects the taste. I bite it and go, oh, fucking horrible that. And then someone will be like, oh, it was only 59 pence. And I'll be like, it's like an angel dancing on my tongue. It affects the taste. The cost affects the taste. Same as if I buy a pint in London, it's £6 fucking 50. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's chilled, imported, Nastro Azzurro. I sip it and I'm like, oh. If I know it's £6.50, it makes me taste like vinegar. So that's why I used to go to the scab rack in Waitrose. Anyway, they only go to Waitrose because they're all wankers. And one of these days, someone's going to assault one of them and get arrested for it. And you can't not be outraged by it because it's war against the working classes. Like if I lost my rag because I was trying to get to work and a bunch of fucking upper crust wankers barricaded the street and I lost my temper and headbutted one of them, I'd get criminalised for it. And I'd be like 43 years without getting a criminal record. And now I've got a fucking blemish on my impeccable, I nearly said career, a blemish on my record because you woke tossers will not enforce the law properly for middle-class wankers. One of these days, someone's going to lose the rag and ride the truck through them. And then that person's going to go to prison for a very long time. And it's not their fault. It's the fault of the fucking police officers for being politically partisan and not enforcing the law properly. That's why. It's a form of class warfare. They are all posh and they get treated with kid gloves. The football lads alliance try and have an argument about something and they get their heads smashed in by the biggest, burliest coppers they can find. You can't find that many, but they dig them out when they need to. So it's class warfare. That's what it is. And it's absolutely shocking. As usual, the police need pulling apart. Peter Hitchens said so, and he's right. The police needs completely dismantling, totally brick and mortar. They need to start training and hiring and recruiting a new police force. Call them whatever you want. Force should be in the title, though. Because they're not called the police force anymore, are they? Now it's like the happy-go-lucky police service, right? They need to hire a new police force, get a load of burly veterans in, start with all the bootnecks who are leaving the corps, and when they're trained and ready for action, dismantle the fucking police. Start with the Metropolitan Police, and it'll all flow downhill from there. Because the police are not worth a wank in England now. Not worth a wank. Completely useless. Captured by, yeah, the fucking... The police are more likely to suck your boyfriend off than than arrest your burglar. That's just a fact. It's unbelievable. Totally useless. Not worth the paper they're printed on. So fuck the coppers. Anyway, you distracted me with the chat. Let's talk about this story because I want to cover it. Because there's a few obvious points I can make about it. Because I remember covering this years ago. So more than 7 million have left. Not a small number. Okay. More than half of them face challenges accessing food, housing, and stable employment, but they're going anywhere because that's how much of a shambles communism makes of a fucking formally functioning country. Despite the difficulties facing them abroad, the flow of Venezuelans has not let up. Aid agencies warn that these migrants risk being forgotten amid other crises. There's no question both that it is a major protracted crisis that is shaking the region. David Miliband, president, not that twat. What's that fucking worm doing? I thought I'd saw the last of dog shit Dave when his red brother trounced him in the Labour leadership contest. Dog shit Dave. They always slime their way into some other job where they do less than fuck all as well, don't they? David Miliband, what a twat. It's also clear that the competing priorities for global attention are draining attention in a way that's quite dangerous. More than 80% of those who've left are living in Latin America and the Caribbean, in countries which, have you noticed how since I've been in America, I've said that wrong now? Caribbean, in it. That's how I always said it when I was a kid. Out here they say Caribbean. Is it Pirates of the Caribbean or Pirates of the Caribbean? Any preference? I still think Caribbean, but being as I'm from Middlesbrough, I never feel comfortable telling anybody how they should pronounce anything. Is it Caribbean, or is that just when you're from the northeast? I'm off to the Caribbean, like, you know. If Geordies say it that way, it makes me instantly suspicious. So, yeah, Caribbean, yeah. Anyway, more than 80% of those who've left, that's where they're living. Venezuela's population has fallen from 30 million to 28.25 based on the latest UN figures. Main destinations: Spain, the United States, Dominican Republic, Colombia. They've gone all over. Many of the governments in Latin America are trying to do the right thing, but it's a big challenge. It's dangerous to presume that this burden can be borne indefinitely, and other aid agencies have been sounding the alarm. The Special Representative for Refugees from Venezuela, Eduardo Stein, said half of all Venezuelan refugees cannot afford 3 meals a day and lack access to safe and dignified housing. It's an experienced 33-year-old Sarahi recalls only too well. For more than a year, I had to make a choice between paying for a roof over my head or paying for food. Yeah, but the thing is, more than half of people living in England probably can't fucking afford 3 meals a day now, can they? Because of your ridiculous war on the working classes. So you can't blame people back home being a little bit shy on charity, because the quality of life's just declined every decade for 30 years. Isn't it? It's very easy to ask for charity from middle-class households who've got plenty of money. But working-class people now, the reason Britain was always welcoming to refugees for since the end of the Second World War, Britain was one of the most hospitable and welcoming places in the world. But then you just took the piss out of the working classes for 30 years and imported millions and millions of economic migrants who weren't even from countries where they're actually at war with anybody. And now you wonder why we're all a little bit short on charity. Like, of course they are. It's your fault they're short on charity. Anyway, Sarahi's probably talking bollocks. They all are. Everyone's like, oh, I can't afford to eat. You see them all on nurses on the BBC. Oh, I'm a full-time nurse and I had to go to the food bank. Got more chins than the Chinese phone book. You've never missed a meal, fatty. Don't be telling me that. I told you, my best mate, his wife's a nurse and his sister's a nurse. And so as a result of that, I've spent a lot of time around nurses, and let me tell you, 60% of them are fat knackers. One of them, his wife Heather told me that most of them weren't going to work during the pandemic, but she did because she's not a weasel. And she said some of them were just staying at home on full pay for months because they didn't feel safe. And the only time they came in was when it was Easter, and all of the local do-gooders were taking Easter eggs to the hospital for the NHS. She said there were some of them who hadn't been to work for months, but they were pulling up in the car park, popping the boot, filling it with fucking Easter eggs, and then driving off. And they go, I can't afford to eat. What do you mean you can't afford to eat? You've got fingers like sausage rolls and you've always got your fucking crumbs down your front. Yes, you're eating. You lying twat. Be the same with her, who had to choose between eating and somewhere to live. Bollocks, you did. I bet you if you'd seen a picture of her, she'd have an ass like the back end of a bus. It's such nonsense. Everybody claims they can't afford to eat nowadays. Everybody who's working, people who are actually struggling, it's not them. It's middle-class arseholes who say they can't afford to eat because poor is cool. That's what Pulp said, didn't they? Poor is cool. And that's what it's like nowadays. Owen Jones and Afua Hirsch and Laurie Penny, they like to pretend they're like one of you guys. Like, oh, I know what it's like to struggle. Do you fuck? Jack Monroe's a good example. Jack, useless, worthless, oxygen thief Monroe. Jack Monroe is insufferably middle class. Have you actually read the background on Jack Monroe? I didn't even know Jack Monroe was until I heard Douglas Murray talking about her a few years ago. For those of you that don't know, she's an insufferable woke, gender non-binary, up is down, left is right, fucking fruitcake, who started out as a food blogger, and she made a name for herself, saying she was a pot in poverty, and oh, this is how you can eat on only $3 a fucking £3 a week. She's middle class. Her dad was like really high ranking in the higher fire service, and they get well paid anyway. The rank and file are on 30 grand a fucking year. Or they were on 30 grand a year in the bastard noughties, so I don't know what they're getting now. The dad was well high ranking because he obviously slimed her in and got her to be a firefighter for a few years. She's never been anything other than a middle class arsehole. She's never not had money. But she goes, oh, I'm poor, the poverty. This is my shoestring budget for eating. Bullshit. You've always had. She's there pushing the trolley round Waitrose, filling it with fucking full price fajitas. They're just talking nonsense. Sadwings has just filled his larder. Who calls it a larder in 2022? Well, he's got the right idea. Although I don't think you should be mixing gasoline with fucking beans. Although, who cares, right? Who cares? None of my business. Sadwings is the prepper in chief. He can do what he likes. He's probably got fucking ammunition and firelighters in there with his gasoline and his beans as well. Yeah, there you go. 70k for a chief. So, yeah, she's well-skinned, Jack Monroe. Well-skinned. Spoiled fucking rotten. I said they all. This is the reason why nobody who's middle class, all these people who are like getting backdoored into Hollywood as well. Because you know what? I'm going to go on a tangent here. I don't watch any of the woke TV anymore if I used to be a fan of it. All I do is I watch reviewers that I like, and then I don't need to bother watching it. So I haven't watched The Rings of Power, and I won't. But I watched Dave Cullen's review of Rings of Power and Critical Drinkers. They're two I like. And that'll do me. I don't need to watch them myself. And then when pointing out that these talentless hacks now get the jobs because of the parents or the connections in the industry, they don't know anything about adversity. And people like Tolkien did. Like they had rough lives. So they understood the sort of emotional, the real life feelings that would be invoked by tough situations. But like the modern ones think the most arduous your life gets is complaining about oppression when you're a middle class arsehole. So that's why they all fetishize being anything that puts them on the pyramid. They'll do anything. They'll tell you they're disabled when they're not. They'll tell you they're bi when they're not. How many bi have you had come out now in public? Like, oh, I'm bisexual. No, you're a straight woman thinking it's cool to like kiss a girl occasionally in front of a camera, because then you can get on the pyramid. You're desperate to get on the pyramid and go, oh, I'm oppressed. It's fucking out. Oh, woe is me. Look, Madonna even did it, which is cringe. She's been privileged for 50 years. She's a multi-millionaire. And then she was like, oh, if I miss this shot, I'm gay. Missed it on purpose. And everyone was like, oh, Madonna, she's like bisexual now. It's like, it's cringe. It's fucking cringe. People are just, it's pathetic. They will give their right knacker to be able to call themselves oppressed. And that's why these people are talentless hacks. It's everybody now. It's so seductive. It's why commie ideology is so subtle and manipulative and insidious, because it's seductive to people. It's very, very, very seductive. If you can suddenly have an ideology that tells you that no matter what happens, you can always have something else to blame. Nothing's ever your fault. Nothing's ever down to your own stupidity or your own failings. You've always got something you can point at. It's very, very seductive. My mate, I don't watch any of these shy TV shows, but my mate's always ranting about, like, I guess he watches it with his wife, like Dancing with the Stars or whatever the fuck it was they're all voting on now. And he said all of them have a sob story, especially if they're black or gay. But they get up and they're like, oh, my life's been so hard. You know, speaking as a black woman, it's been so hard. It's like, what do you mean it's hard? In England, if you're a black woman, your life's easier than if you're a white man. Everybody knows it. The bottom rung in England is not a black woman. They're at the top of the pyramid. The more things you can tick, the better. So if you're a black woman, you're up there. You're up there. You're a woman and you're black. All you have to say is, I've got a disability, I've got a hair lip, and I've got a fucking ass like a buffalo. And then you're at the very top of the tree. But you're definitely above straight white man. Working class, put upon, still the most put upon person in England. The working class straight white man who gets nothing ever for free. Has to fucking fight tooth and nail for everything. And they get straight up and go, oh yeah, I've had it so hard. Me speaking as a black woman, oh, I've had it so hard. Yeah, you look like you've had it hard, fatty. You're perfectly manicured fucking hands haven't got a piece of rough skin on them. And you're 40 pounds overweight because all you do is eat fucking noodle doodles. And you're telling me your hard's life? Your hard's not life. Your hard's not life. Your life's not hard. Tubbs. It's ludicrous. Maradona. Not Maradona, not the little fat cheat. Or best footballer ever, but still a little fat cheat. No, the pop singer who now thinks it's cool to pretend she's a lesser. Bollocks. So it's unbelievable. Anyway, there was another customary bootneck segue and nothing related to the story I'm supposed to be reading. So Venezuela's totally fucked. They're all leaving, as I told you, and they can't be arsed, right? What's the reason? Well, we know why. Venezuela, I'll give you the abridged version. Venezuela was a functioning country until Venezuela went full commie. And Venezuela is, ironically, got some of the largest oil reserves in the world. Venezuela they cannot move for oil. But the main reason Venezuela is totally shagged since they started this for the people bollocks is because, I forget the exact year because I told you guys this story a few years back. I read it on the BBC. I think it was about 2013 or 2014. They actually did seize some factories. They grabbed like a Kellogg's factory, a General Motors one, and a couple of other sizable production facilities for large multinational corporations. They seized them and said, right, we're taking these for the workers. And then because none of them know how to manufacture cereal or manufacture cars or produce things, because it takes training and effort, which is why the big companies pay lots of money for good engineers, production engineers, and quality control professionals and human resources professionals to get good processes and good procedures and good engineering and some training for them all. When you just seize them, you don't seize a factory on the Monday, kill or deport all of the employees on the Tuesday, and then go back to production on Wednesday. And if you had an IQ above room temperature, you would fucking know this. So it was working. They started seizing everything, and then everybody fled. All of the capital flight that you expected to occur occurred, and all the big companies went, holy shit, did you hear about them grabbing that factory? Let's get the fuck out of it. Typical of Sadlings to go to violence. That's a pragmatic solution. But basically, that's what happened. They then started grabbing up factories, so all the big companies instantly fled the country, and then you're done. You're done. When you get large-scale capital flight, which always follows any commie revolution, you are fucking done. Your economy is circling the drain. Your people are all going to starve. So that's what happened. That's why Venezuela is Tom ducked, and that's why 7.1 million people have fled the country. It's totally shagged. So what's the lesson? Don't be a commie, boys and girls. Not hard, is it? That's the lesson to take away. Don't be a commie. And still, for some reason that completely eludes me, you have massive numbers of young people in the UK who think it's brilliant. Brilliant. Let's just persecute the rich people. Let's fucking tax the balls of all the movers and shakers. Let's copy the Venezuela model for economics and see where it gets us. Shall we? Like I've said, ultimately, democracy works. You get what you deserve. If we are stupid enough to go down the same road in the United States and the United Kingdom and all of Western Europe, after seeing example after example after example, all throughout history, and now all the way up to the modern era with Venezuela, a nation with gigantic oil reserves that's now everybody's eating out of the bins, right? You deserve what you get. And if the woke manage to seize power because the general public are apathetic or ignorant, we deserve it. We deserve to be eating out the bins. That reminds me of an old Chubby Brown joke when he comes in. He says, when a man comes home from work, he is entitled to a hot meal. And his wife says, you're in luck, Chubbs, the fucking bin's on fire. Right? We deserve it. If we start eating out the bins, we deserve it. All of the evidence is right here for all the world to see. You can see it on the BBC. You can read about it on Wikipedia. You can Google it. You can see it on telly. It's easy. If we allow the woke to rule the fucking world, we deserve it. We deserve to be eating out the wheelie bins. So, like I keep telling you lot, embrace the suck. As I said on Friday night, the Spartan lifestyle, you need to embrace it. Live frugally, stockpile some scran, and prepare yourself for the worst, because we're following these fuckers' lead. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. The shit for brains commies cannot get it through their heads that it's a failed ideology. They don't listen. They don't want to listen to reason. They don't read history books. They don't know anything about the fucking antiquity or anything before Andy Warhol. They don't know anything about the past. They don't care about the past. They don't want to take the time to learn it, read it, and know it. So we deserve it. If you're that ignorant, you deserve it. And back in the 70s, we watched tramps lick the newspapers. Yeah. Well, you'll be heading there soon enough, boys and girls. So embrace the suck. Get used to the delicate hints of subtle flavour when you're sucking the newspapers outside the chippies, because that's where we're going to end up. Well, there won't even be any chippies. It will all be tramps when the commies get away. Yeah, they do. We are living in 1984, Sean. That's a fact. Anyway, right, I think that'll do you. What have I done? 40 minutes? That'll do you. I spoil you, twat. I do. I'm not at work tomorrow, so I'll be streaming again tomorrow. I'll figure something out to talk about. But yeah, we're in the shit, boys and girls. We're definitely going to be licking them newspapers or fishing for scran out the wheelie bins. Embrace the suck. Oh, well, he embraces it. It's just a different type of suck. Rodney. Right, thanks for watching, everybody. Michelle, send me an email and I'll sort you out. And yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. All right, have a good night. Toodle pip. Cheers, everyone. See you in a bit.